Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Real Sports Scope on this 6th day of July. I hope everybody had a great 4th of July weekend. I know I did. And before I get started, we need a shout out to the city of Nashville, Tennessee, whoever's in charge of putting together the whole fireworks display and show here in downtown Nashville, Broadway area. It was the best I've ever seen. I mean, it was absolutely great. As you know, I do a lot of ride share and talk to people from different countries around the world that were here, giving them rides downtown, and they said the same thing as well. Second to none. Shout out to them. Okay, so folks, I got a great show with you on for today, and let me remind you, it's July the 6th. We're about less than 3 weeks away from NFL training camps. And we've got SEC Media Day coming up here in about a week or so. I'm going to get back to talking all that stuff, but we are at a little bit of a dead time here, so I'm not a tabloid show. But that being said, there are a few things that sounds tabloid-like in my air quotes, like the late great Chris Farley would do in one of his famous skits at Saturday Night Live. But I got to take on the Travis Kelce wedding. Also have to take on Marcellus Wiley, former NFL player who's rested over the weekend, domestic battery. But the big story is obviously the World Cup, the Folarin Balogun. I'm sure I'm jacking his name up. I apologize. The player that was suspended for the red card for the USA will be back. It was rescinded. Got an opinion on that. Got some clips for that. So stand by. We'll take our first and only break, and we will start off with that story and the World Cup games themselves here momentarily on the Real Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to Sports, that is Sports with an S, another S, Scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. Okay, I'm back here. Okay, now, World Cup controversy around Folarin Balogun's red card. That was an obviously bad call. I think it was, and I said this the other day. If I haven't, I'll go ahead and clarify now. I think the reason why they got that red card from the get-go is the games are being played here in the United States. The refs overcorrected the fact that they think, well, you know what? We don't want to show any kind of bias towards the home soil team, so we're going to overcorrect this potential foul call here, where it looks like two guys are going for the ball. And yes, he does kick the opponent's leg there, and it looks like something possibly could tear a player's Achilles. So listen, let me go ahead and play that clip one more time since I still got it on my desk here, and we'll talk about it here in just a second.
Bosnia-Herzegovina. Balogun again, and Muharremovich both are down. Muharremovich seems...
The number 20 United States committee serious foul.
Yeah, it's going to be a red card.
The final decision is red card.
Wow.
As you can see in super slow motion, looks like he just went right after this guy's legs and kicked him. Like I said, that could cause an Achilles to tear. But if you've seen it at the beginning of the clip, it's in real time. The ball's being thrown in. They're both going after the ball. It was a bang, bang play here. Okay? So, anyways, gotta get all these scam calls on my phone, and the phone is where my stuff is. Okay, now, all right. So That was a red card, which means the automatic suspension for the next game, which will be today's game against Belgium. Some books, for the record, some sportsbook had United States still as a slight favorite in tonight's game. But now our president of the United States, Donald Trump, had contacted the FIFA president here, Gianni Infantino, and I'm sure I'm jacking that up, and said, hey, can you just look into this thing? Okay? Nobody's threatening, threatening to intimidate or bully the FIFA president or anything like that. And I know that's what some of the headlines are saying. But let me play the clip, and I finally found this from TikTok, from the president of FIFA himself talking about this type of precedent, something that's happened before, not air quote in the World Cup, but in the qualifying rounds where a recension of a red card has happened with Ronaldo, which a lot of the headlines leave out purposely in our American media. But let the clip speak for itself. I'll come back and comment after I play this clip, okay?
I reject the claim that we gave in. First, yes, the president did contact me and asked that Folarin Balogun's red card be reviewed. But the communication itself was never the issue. When a head of state raises a question, we should not simply ignore it. Second, regarding the decision itself, we did not overturn the red card, nor did we overrule the referee. We simply exercised the authority granted under Article 27 of the FIFA Disciplinary Code by suspending the enforcement of the one-match ban for a one-year probationary period. If Balogun commits a similar offense within that year, the suspension will immediately take effect. Cristiano Ronaldo has previously received the same form of disciplinary treatment. Finally, to those who have criticized the decision, I heard Belgium's head coach call it an April Fool's joke, and I also heard Norway's head coach describe it as terrible 6 times in a row. I respect every opinion, but let me ask this. When the rules give you discretion, is refusing to use it another form of unfairness?
Bang. He said the rules give you that discretion, okay? The rules give you that discretion. I don't remember those coaches saying this about Ronaldo. It may be on the record that they may have in the past in a qualifying round, not the actual World Cup. So that puts all that controversy to rest, if you ask me. And listen, what he said, listen, Balogun, he's got to he's the Americans' leading goal scorer here. So any kind of penalty here, that could go into the later round. If the United States wins tonight, which we expect them to, now they're technically straight up favorites, you know, he could still get that 1-game suspension. So I think it's much to do about nothing after you look at farther into it, and the fact that it's a precedent set. Again, the same reason I played those videos of all the people from Europe and Africa. There's one guy from an African nation just loving the American food, loving the American variety that we have. Our media, not to really blame the media for everything, but our media has a tendency to really showcase and emphasize bad incidents, isolated bad incidents of America, and paint a negative perception because they have some kind of political agenda behind it. It is what it is. And the people are pleasantly surprised when they come to America and see that it's not this big evil place that it's made out to be. Okay. So as far as the game, yeah, I thought they would probably win anyways. Close. I still think they'll win. I don't know how close or not, but I do think they will win the game tonight. So put that thing to rest. Okay. All right. Now, and if they lose, they lose. All right. So other World Cup notes. You know, listen, folks, I don't bet many of these games, and I sent my friend Odette who watches the program from Mexico. I'll send her a screenshot, which I probably shouldn't. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they'll curse me. I'm a little bit superstitious like that. But I sent her a screenshot of a parlay I put on. It was like $5. It was nothing. And the last part of the parlay was for the Mexico upset of England. Okay, Mexico in this stadium. And I'm sure I'm jacking this up, folks. I'm not here to be the most grammatically pronunciation correct type of guy, but Estado Azteca, they haven't lost a game there in 14 years. Mexico has. Okay, England, the fans of Mexico. England was playing in their. This was a big home advantage for Mexico. Mexico has not allowed a goal leading up to this game. This game was delayed because of weather for about an hour. Okay, I think that would favor the home team per se because they're used to that environment more. The elevation, they had the advantage there again because they're used to the environment. The night before, Mexico fans played loud music and made as much noise outside the hotel of England to keep them up all night so they wouldn't be focused in on this game. They sprayed, and this probably happens all the time, don't get me wrong, but the fans sprayed the bus with foam or some crap. I saw those videos when the team was coming into the arena there. So, I mean, you talk about being intimidated. They were not intimidated. They looked like the bigger, better team. I was really surprised. England was not that, considering their rankings coming in. I mean, they're not technically ranked. Consider the hype of England coming into this tournament up there with the France and the Spain and whatnot, even in Argentina. I was not as impressed with England coming in from the games that I've seen them play. It was their absolute best game, getting off to that early lead there, winning 3-2. It didn't feel that close. You could see the size difference and the ball handling ability of England. Very impressed with them. Very impressed with them. I was wrong. I was 110% sure Mexico was going to win this game. Mexico had that home field advantage. Kind of remind me of like the Seattle Seahawks with the 12th man back in the day up in Seattle, where they simply did not lose games there for a little while. Back with the Legion of Boom back when that 2010, 2012, remember when they won the Super Bowl there and dominated the Broncos? It kind of felt like that type of situation there, that type of home field advantage. So, man, kudos to England for getting that big, even though they were slight favorites. I felt like they were underdogs, getting that big road win to get into what I call, through an NCAA term, the Elite Eight. Okay? All right, other notes. Now, Norway. What an emotional upset over Brazil there. Man, hats off to this guy, Erling Haaland. I'm sure I'm jacking his name up as well. I can't hardly read or pronunciate. Blonde-headed guy with the long hair and the ponytail. He's got to be you talk about the man of the hour in Norway right now. That dude leads. He's got 7 goals in this tournament, only tied with Mbappe and, of course, Messi. Big upset. Man, this guy's playing great. Tall guy. And you could just see the emotion on his face. You could see him crying practically on the field. You could see the Brazilian fans crying. You could see the Brazilian players crying. There was a Brazilian player that's going to retire. It was his last game. I can't get his name, but he's going to retire after this game. You know, it was his last game being played or whatever. And that really stuck out to me. Morocco, kudos to Morocco for beating Canada. France advanced. Everybody who advanced to the Elite Eight, kudos, because these things are getting serious. They're highly competitive. You could see it in the stands. You could see it in the close-ups, the player's face. I love that level of competition. It takes me back to the NFL playoffs, the level of competition and the just the intensity of these games, 80s NBA type of finals and whatnot between the Celtics and Lakers, those intense defensive games where every single play counts, even like this Spurs-Knicks game. Hey, listen, that was that might have been a 5-1 series, but the Spurs were up double digits in every single game. That was an intense play, that really high level where both teams are fully engaged up to their max effort, because you don't see that a lot in sport. I'm sorry, you don't, not even in playoffs. But this World Cup is the best, and quite frankly, the one I've actually watched the most of. But it's the best I've ever seen. I usually watch a few minutes of it, if that. But this particular World Cup is the absolute best I've ever seen, and I think it's only going to get better. Hopefully, they will continue to tweak it here and there and get more of a fan base in and around the world to tune in, although the ratings have been out of this world NFL playoff atmosphere type of ratings. And you're looking at the storylines with the red card controversy and everything, and the intensity of these games are like no other. Okay, moving right along. Other big news over the weekend. Listen, we love or hate Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. This story is a story and a half. They got married. Whether it was official and unofficial, some reports are they've already been married and this is more of a ceremonial type of thing. But Taylor Swift wedding, honestly, I hope they have kids and live happily ever after. They both deserve to be just happy, just like everybody else. Okay, I wrote that down in my notes. But Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, just like everybody else, no matter how rich and famous you are, we all want somebody. It was a Blues Brothers song for some of you older fans out there, older listeners and subscribers. Everybody needs somebody to love, somebody to love. It's a great movie, 1980. But hey, listen, it stands the test of time. All right, now, but you think about it for a second. She's 5'10". She looks about 6'1". I think she wears stacks or whatever. But she's about 5'10", very driven, self-made billionaire, pop country star, whatever you want to give her a title to, love or hate her. She's a marketing genius. She's been surrounded by great marketers with her parents and whatnot of getting her name out there. And she has a stellar, second to none work ethic, writes her own music. She's a very driven individual. Travis Kelce, love him or hate him as well, one of the absolute NFL's best tight ends. He is 6'5". So you got let's think if they have kids, 5'10" mom with a type A personality, 6'5" dad with a type A personality, very aggressive, one of the best tight ends that's ever played this game. And he was good before Patrick Mahomes got there, folks. It's not just Patrick Mahomes. So you think about the kids that they would have. Think about if they had a son that was into sports there, for example. What kind of daughter would they have? What would she be into? What kind of company would she start? I'm sure they're not going to spoil them. They may a little bit, but I'm sure they're going to raise them right. So I really hope that this thing works out. I hope that they have a run like a Jay-Z and a Beyonce type, okay? I wanted to get that out there and clarify. Listen, I'm not married. I'm 44. Almost got married a few times, but I like to get settled down. So, and when I hear people do it not like a lot of haters out there, it brings great joy, folks, to my heart to see that. And I hope it's legit. That being said, pregnant pause. That being said, right? Listen. There was a clip here, and listen, I've been at disagreement. Whether you love or hate, and she's got a lot of haters out there. Megyn Kelly, former Fox News host, she worked for NBC. She's got her own Sirius XM station. She got her own podcast network and everything. Very successful. Have not agreed with a lot of her takes, particularly here lately. But I was scanning through my TikTok route where you screen up and screen down, video. And she had a guest on here that also has a show, a lady named Maureen Callahan. And I think they made a good point about the fact that they had this thing at Madison Square Garden. Now, mind you, Stephen A. Smith just criticized the president a few weeks ago for having went to Game 3 of the NBA Finals and all the traffic shutdowns and traffic issues. Well, apparently, and you can look this up because I did the research. Quick Google search, 22-second Google search, that they caused a lot of traffic jams in that area for her to do this, to have this wedding at Madison Square Garden. And listen, ironically, she coincidentally, however you want to put this, her publicist puts out that they donated $26 million to charities. So let me play the clip. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Let me play this clip real quick. See what you think.
I think Taylor Swift is a malignant narcissist.
Yeah.
Only a malignant narcissist mounts her wedding at MSG.
Yeah. Tracks.
MSG.
Now we're getting the reports of all the celebrities who are arriving in New York today. I guess reportedly the rehearsal dinner is tonight and the wedding's tomorrow, right? It's not on the 4th. The wedding's tomorrow. The third.
Tomorrow night, I
think,
3rd, right? Yeah.
And I know there's like Dua Lipa and I know a bunch of people from across the pond. I don't know. Is there any chance we're being head fake, Maureen? And like all of this is bullshit and they're going to be heading off to like some island like JFK Jr.?
The only thing I can think that might be a head fake is I think they might already be legally married, secretly legally married. And then this is just like scratching her enormous showbiz itch. Like, which listen, that whatever chasm exists within her will never be filled.
Yeah, that's true.
What kind of hole do you have inside of you where you need to stage your wedding at Madison Square Garden?
I know.
It's like,
That's a good line, And listen, two things can be true. Yes, Megyn Kelly and Maureen Callahan sound like jealous haters. Yes, that can be true. And I've read the comments that you all put on TikTok underneath that video. That can be true. But also, the idea of I always was under the understanding that a marriage was supposed to be a sacred bond between a man and a woman or whatever couple. And why make it so publicized like that? To put it in Madison Square Garden. I mean, like that woman said, Maureen Callahan, what kind of hole do you have to fill in your heart to stage a wedding at Madison Square Garden? I mean, on the outside, the cynic side of me says this looks like one of the world's biggest publicity stunts ever. And like I said earlier, I hope I'm wrong. But the cynic side of me, the street side of me says this seems like the world's biggest publicity. There's a video out there. Now, I didn't have time to get out every little video of every little thing. But I've seen this a few times. But there's a clip out there with Taylor Swift several clips, walking on the field when she was dating Kelce about a year or so ago or whatever, with his mom, Mama Kelce, what everybody knows her as. And she's walking ahead. They're walking on the field together, but she's walking ahead of this guy's mother as if she's not even there. She's walking past her. You would think she would respect mom enough to engage with her while they're on the field and see them walking and talking together, And again, folks, why would her publicist let us know that, this is a bad look for Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, mainly Taylor Swift. I doubt Travis Kelce wanted to do this, but mainly Taylor Swift, to block off traffic like this and make this big public spectacle, even though they didn't allow it to be. I'm sure she probably wanted it to be filmed and probably wanted to do a documentary of it, put a big Netflix special of the Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift wedding, right? But why? Why would they let it be known that they gave $26 million to charity? And listen, hey, there's a blessing in everything. I hope that $26 million goes to those charities and helps some underprivileged youth. That would be great. But it just seems like one of the just biggest, just ego tripping, narcissistic things to do on this earth. And the fact that somebody said in her ear, you might want to let it leak out about this so it can really take a little bit of that sting off the criticisms you're going to get for this. Now, listen, like I said before, and let me say it probably a third or fourth time. I like to repeat myself. I want to make sure my messages hit home for those of you who are not paying attention. I want them to have kids and live happily ever after. I truly, because think about what kind of kids they can have. Think about she's 5'10", type A, driven like nobody's business. He's 6'5", driven like nobody. He's one of the greatest tight ends of all time. She's a self-made billionaire, writes her own music, really hard worker. What kind of kids do they have? They had body structure, brain. I mean, they could have an Elon Musk type of kid, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be an air quote athlete per se, Obviously, it depends on how they raise. If they spoil them too much, they might not, have that kind of personality. But if they raise these children right, hey, they may be great. But again, the cynic side of me says, man, this thing may last less than 3 years. And I tell you what, if Travis Kelce, he says that he wanted to retire and she motivated him to come back one more year. I don't think he has a full plan to do something with his time after retirement. I could see him, once he does retire, getting himself into some trouble. Hopefully he does not. Hopefully he does get involved in something where it's not just his podcast, but some kind of coaching mentorship program. I know they got the tight end university thing going. That's been picking up steam. That was here in Nashville a few weeks ago. Hopefully he can lean more into programs like that to take up his time again, so he does not get himself in any trouble. Okay. I hope the best for him. But anyways, that's my take on that. Again, this is not a tabloid show, but hey, it's interesting. It was on my mind all weekend. I wanted to talk about it. And I'll bring it up again with the Mad New Yorker coming up here on Thursday. Okay. Listen, so Marcellus Wiley, I've always liked his takes. He's always, and I do mean always, come off as a fair guy, a good guy. I appreciate what he said about all white people are not privileged. And he talked about taking in a white guy, a family or something into their home that was very poor and helping them out. This all come out during the 6 years ago. And he took a lot of heat for that. He took a lot of heat. He still takes a lot of heat from the activists, the Black Lives Matter activists, and people that supported that when the police shootings and all that stuff happened back in the Rodney King, the George Floyd incidents back in 2020. I really appreciate him doing that. He just always seems to me comes off as a good, honest, authentic guy. I still think he's a good, honest, authentic guy, but he was arrested. He's having a bad year, okay? He was arrested over the weekend. Let me make sure and read this so I do not misquote anything about this story, folks. If I can get it, if I get my pages to come up right, we'll find it here. Okay. So he was arrested in Florida, taken into custody, Orange County, Florida area, and charged with domestic battery arrest or whatever. Basically, TMZ is saying he put his finger into her cheek, of her face there, pushing, said, "I'll kill you." Now, TMZ also put out a clip. His wife, Anna Marie, I want to say her name is, By the way, they've been married 14 years, 3 kids, okay? But she was on a reality TV show called The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and they put out a clip of her arguing with the woman over some nonsense. And I'll tell you what, it looks like that she is just an egomaniac looking for a tip. Now, that's what that clip shows. And let me put this, let me be clear. I should have said this at the beginning of this segment. Let me be clear. I have a mother, 2 sisters, 3 nieces, 3 aunts, a cousin, all women, love greatly. All the women in my life, even the ex-girlfriends, still much love for them. I don't condone domestic violence by any means necessary. These are all just accusations. This is his word versus her word. They took her word and they arrested this guy. I think he's still in jail. But go watch that clip. It's on my X account at rbutler723 verified X account. It's a repost of the TMZ story. And if you scan down the story, you'll be able to see that video. I couldn't find it on TikTok. I was going to play it, but you'll be able to see that video of her arguing with this woman and him stepping away. And I thought, yeah, this lady is tough, man. It's tough. Okay. So that being said, he's also had some earlier this year. I want to read this. Multiple women filed civil suits against Wiley, accusing him of sexual assault and rape. This includes claims from his time as an athlete at Columbia University, going back to the 90s. And in 2009, allegation from a former ESPN production assistant. The current status of lawsuits, this is from Google AI, and it's about 6 or 7 sources on this. That's what I like about AI. They won't just give you one source outlet. They'll give you several, athletic, ESPN, whatever. And the current status of lawsuits seeking to be certified as a class action against Wiley and Columbia University is also named in the suit, which alleges administrators previously knew about the misconduct and protected Wiley. He was a football player. Remember, he played in the NFL for several years. He's been an ESPN personality. He's been a Fox personality. He's an independent guy now that does a show, okay? He does a show himself. It's a good show, and he talks about stuff like this. Now he's part of something. He's commented on Shannon Sharpe, and now he's brought into these type of situations himself. I think, anything that goes back 15, 20 years, you just got to question why weren't any kind of, and I know people talk about the Bill Cosby thing and that those numbers are crazy, like 20 something, but why would you not say something then? Why wouldn't you yeah, well, you're scared of this, you're scared of that. Not saying it wasn't true, not saying it was not true, but why don't you report this to the police immediately? So you got a question about something like this, and then this issue comes up after that. So he's just having a bad year. My thing is, hopefully he can get this stuff behind him. And listen, I may be a fool here and just be buying into the face he puts on in public. He might have a dark side to him. Who knows? I don't think that's to be the case. I still have a lot of respect for Marcellus Wiley just by listening to him over the years, past several years. I like his story from where he came from. He came from the hood like me. He came from nothing like me. I didn't come from what the rappers talk about as Compton, but hey, listen, I lived in the projects when I was a kid, behind that Titan Stadium here in Nashville. I lived in them projects, okay? I grew up in that kind of hellhole. So I understand it. Dysfunctional family. I understand it. And I didn't go to Columbia and become a star or nothing, but I did graduate college coming from that. But anyways, that we'll play that by ear. I wanted to comment on that. And listen, hey, if he's guilty, you do the crime, you got to do the time, but that's my take on that. Interesting story. Again, this is not a tabloid show. It just happens to be these big stories in the news just happen to come up this particular weekend. Okay. I want to thank all my new subscribers that came in. I've got like I mentioned last week, I've got a display put on my car here. My friends at Alpha Graphics of Brentwood, Tennessee did a great job. Although I got to wait another week for a wash the outside. I got to wipe it down with a hand wash, and I don't have enough time to do anything nowadays. But they said you can't go into these automatic car washes because it could knock the display off. So I got to wait another week to do that. But anyways, I want to thank all my new subscribers from all over the place who's commented on display and have subscribed to the channel. I've seen it up to 162. And I want to say on YouTube, and those were like 30 when I first started. Now I should have 162,000, 162 million with the kind of content I put out, but I'm not. I got to work on my marketing and algorithms and all that other stuff. But anyways, if you like the show, share the show. If you have not subscribed you see it at the bottom of the screen, okay? At the Real Sports Scope YouTube, you see the at Robert Butler 723 Twitter account there. Robert Butler on Facebook, verified Robert Butler, me with the guy with a suit on. Follow me there. I put a lot of my stuff there. I really don't put a lot of stuff on my Facebook page now, but my verified account. A lot of you know that I was hacked about 2 years ago, and I'm still building that audience back up here, building that audience here, so we can get some advertisers on this program and get this thing up and running. Okay, so have a good Monday, everybody, and go United States tonight. Hey, win, lose, or draw. No, there's going to be no draw. It's going to win or lose. You've had a great year, but, like my man Mike said, this soccer sports writer says they really do need to get into the quarterfinals, which will be a win tonight for this to be considered a successful World Cup, and the fact it's played on their home soil. So go United States. We'll see what happens. Have a good night, everybody. I'll see you live Thursday with the Mad New Yorker here on the Real Sports Scope.